Hi, my name is Prince Michael Enobi. I am the CEO of the Click Empire. I'm an entertainment stakeholder. One of the things that I'm going to advise people, the younger ones in the entertainment industry, out of experience over the years, is gratitude. Thank you is a prayer. Many times I've seen a lot of us have made mistakes or fallen because we did not just know how to say thank you or how to appreciate down the line. Thank you is a prayer. Any day, anytime, for those that made me who I am today, or those that helped me up the rung of the ladder, I'd always tell them thank you. I am on Hall of Fame with Darling Younger.
That was beautiful. Thank you is a prayer. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you, darling.
You look amazing. It's a shoe for me. I wish they could see what you're wearing. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to ask you a very... How much is it?
No, this was just about 50K.
Wow. It's so beautiful.
It's affordable.
Yeah. But it looks... No, don't say affordable. Not everybody can remove 50K for a pair of shoes. I tell you.
Actually, it was a friend's wedding. Recently. I had to sacrifice.
They drank a later.
How do you know? All right.
Okay, so tell us more about Prince Enobi. Where were you born? Let's talk about your childhood.
Oh, childhood. This is the first time I'm actually talking about childhood on TV.
Oh.
I was born in Tiko. I grew up in a small town called Nguti. Nguti is in the Kupe division, somewhere before Manfe. There I did primary school in Nguti. It's a little town that had no lights. I think it still has no lights till today. So it was up until when I was going to Form 1 that I saw a city with lights all through. And I was like, hey, we've arrived. Anyways, childhood, yeah, I went to Nguti. I went to the government primary school in Nguti. I was a mass servant, very good one. What else about my childhood? Yeah, I think Nguti was just more about Nguti, very small community in the Southwest region. Okay. I think that basically that's it about it.
So how big is your family? How many siblings do you have?
Oh, we're 5, 4 girls. I'm second, but for those who don't know us that close, think I'm first, but sincerely, I'm second. What else?
So how was it like growing up in the midst of girls?
Horrible. A little. I'd say, for example, it affected. There's a lot of things that happen to us when we're younger that's going to affect you in the later years. Not up until recently, I didn't used to watch football. Yeah, it will shock you.
Oh, you watching telenovela?
I wasn't even watching anything because, I wasn't watching anything.
Oh.
Because I grew up with girls watching telenovelas and I really did not like telenovelas. So I didn't watch soccer. I didn't play video games. I don't even know how to play them till today.
So what were you doing for fun?
What was I doing for fun? I think I was more interested in becoming a priest.
Oh.
Back then. So most times I was in church. I was in the father's house. I was doing something. I was struggling to make mass in my room. My dad too was a very busy man. That's how I grew up. That's how I grew up.
Now, as an only son, priesthood, you're likely not to get married. You're likely not to produce offspring. So how did your dad take it, considering the fact that you are the only male, you're the one who has to continue with his name? What was going on?
After primary school, I went to seminary. I went to Bishop Minor Seminary, and I was there for 8 years. My parents really badly wanted me to become a priest. So badly. To the extent that I think that when I told them I didn't want to continue my journey in the Catholic priesthood, my mom didn't talk to me for like 3 months. She was so disappointed. I come from a family that is so Catholic. Okay. So Catholic, from my grandfather, my great-grandfather to my dad. And it would have been joy for my dad, technically, if all of us, sisters and us, were either Reverend sisters or Reverend father. Trust me, that guy would have had no problem at all. So yeah, they wanted me to be a priest so bad. And along the line, I figured that God wanted me to do more. Not as a priest, but as a lay faithful. But I think that my parents really, really wanted me to be a priest. They were so disappointed when I dropped out.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, were you born with a silver spoon or a golden spoon? What was the living condition like?
Number one, for anybody who knows Southwest and who knows Kupe Manenguba and who knows Nguti, you cannot be born with a silver spoon on Nguti. You have to struggle. You know what I mean? See, I'll tell you, like, when I went to Form 1, I went to Bishogan, I came to Boya.
Yeah.
I had difficulties reading at night. It only took me later to understand why. Because I came from a background where by 7:30, 8 o'clock, everybody's going to sleep because it's dark. There's no lights. We use bush lamps. Then I come to a scenario where there's lights. You have to do night preps till 10 o'clock. I'm not used to staying up to 10 o'clock. So literally most times when I go for night preps, I'll sleep.
Oh.
And my discipline master used to flog me seriously. And I didn't even understand why I would sleep, but I would just sleep. It's only later that I understood. Growing up, I didn't go with a silver spoon. See, I come from a background, a combination that you don't want to wish your children that kind of combination. My dad is a police commissioner. My mom is a teacher. That's not a nice combination. No, you have to be upright.
Yeah.
There's a particular time with siesta. There's a particular time, you know. So that's the condition I grew in. But they were just a very little family, and we're taught from scratch that you have to work hard for everything you want to have. So I think that growing up, we're taught from scratch that we had to work it out. And coming from that kind of background, you don't have a choice.
Now, you mentioned that your father was a police commissioner, your mom a teacher. I mean, commissioner, we know this morning. So why did you grow up in such an area?
I'm proud of my dad. I think I've never said this in public. And if he's watching, I'm proud of my dad. And why am I proud of my dad? My dad is the only policeman I have seen that is upright. My father fears God so bad. I seen him, like, growing up, I have a lot of friends that are in the military, commissioners, colonels and stuff. And I know how they operate. And I can categorically tell you any day, anytime that my dad was different. So now when you think about it from that angle, you'd know that now it wasn't commissioner.
Okay.
And my mom is a government teacher. I'm not sure how much these government teachers earn, but I think that there was a day I had a conversation with her, and sincerely, if I had to go by her salary right now, I'm not sure I can send kids to Sacred Baptist College and Bishop College. I don't know how they did it, but I think our parents did so much work in those days.
They did.
They found a way. I don't know. I'm trying to... In a study, I was thinking that maybe they survive on loans from the bank, from credit unions, which we don't have access to that, our generation, though, because many of us don't deal with taking loans from banks and stuff. Yeah. But I think that's how they survived. So if you think about it, commissioner in the strict sense, someone who doesn't take bribe, who doesn't get involved, it was just a normal salary. Okay. But then he wasn't commissioner, though, when we were younger. I think he became commissioner later. And my dad was a police inspector, I think, yeah. Okay. Back then in Guti, he was a police inspector. Now, you were supposed to become a priest. Now you are a music stakeholder. How did this happen? Tell us the journey. I think, for those who don't know, I used to sing, I used to be a rapper. Yeah, I have a song, a couple of songs. I actually have a song with rhythms. Ken Stevens was there. Philby was there. K Master K, Sienna. I have a song. with Sparks the Virus. Sparks, if you are listening, he knows he has a track.
Can you still remember the lyrics? You want to give it a shot?
No. Oh. I don't want to embarrass myself. You know what I mean? You see, there's a point where you get to your life where you just know that this one I'm doing, I'm wasting my time. You have to know in your heart that see this thing, I'm wasting my time. Let me find something I should not waste my time. But I think that right from the seminary, I used to sing. Okay. And contrary to opinions back then, one of the reasons I left and stopped my journey to the Catholic priesthood was my love for entertainment. Okay. Because I figured that I could not do both. And I remember at some point when I wanted to leave, when I went to the bishop and I told the bishop I don't want to continue, he asked me why. Sincerely, what I told Bishop Emmanuel Bushu was that I see they dismiss a lot of seminarians. And when they come out of the seminary, most of them end up as teachers. Now, my Lord, I don't want to be a teacher. So just let me go to UB and come back. And when I come back, in case they dismiss me, I must have found my way.
You're such a good negotiator.
Yeah, you know, I could negotiate with the bishop. Until now, I'm not sure you remember, the bishop still has my baptism card and my confirmation card, which means that if he told me categorically, when I want to get married, I need to come back to him and tell him that, my Lord, I'm the one who lied, that I'll come back, but now I've changed my mind. So, but I think that was it. And it was my love for it. I remember my spiritual director told me, hey, you know, there's a way you can do this. You can do gospel music, you can do gospel films and stuff. I didn't see that as being possible, but right now, it's something that I would love to do. It's something I'll do in a bit without thinking. Gospel music. Lately, if you notice, I invested a lot in gospel music. Yeah. Gospel concerts and stuff, a whole lot. But I also believe in that there is a plan for everything.
Okay.
To be what I am today or where I am today, I had to pass through the seminary training.
Okay.
If I didn't pass through the seminary training, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I think I just love it's entertainment that took me out of seminary per se. Okay. Maybe my calling got faded somewhere, but I still have calling though.
Very well then. Yeah. So now you got into music, right? And you met the likes of Ken Stevens. Let's talk about No Hits, No Records.
No Hits, No Records. For those who know me, No Hits, No Records. So when I was in the university, or when I was in secondary school, Ken Stevens was in the same school with me. I think I was in Form 4.
What school is that?
Sure, Ken went to the seminary. Okay. He left at some point. I don't know why he left, but I think I was in Form 4 or so. Ken was in Form 1 or so, I think. So I knew Ken, and when I came to the university, I saw his love for music. Back then in UB, that's a long time ago, I used to organize nights, shows. That's how I started. Okay. I was doing Friday Nights Out. For those who know me back then in UB, and fee 600. Then I started at Alliance Franco, would pay 500 fans to get in. Or was it 200? I can't remember. And then No Hits, No Records. No Hits, No Records in those days, initially, this is the story. It was then called No Hits, No Records. That was the name with an S. It was owned by Ken Stevens and K Master K. Then I was doing events and I saw them. Ken came to me a couple of times with their tracks and stuff, and I really liked it. And there was this day they had a problem. The studio then was in Campaign Street 4, I think. So they had a problem with rents at the studio. It's a very small room like that. I still have those pictures somewhere. And Ken came to me to borrow money. And Ken said that, hey, grandfather, the landlord was asking them to move out because they had like 4 months, 6 months accumulated rents. Mm-hmm. So I was a good negotiator. So I came on the table again. I told them, see, if I give you money to pay these rents, 4 months down the line, we'll come back to the same point. Let's do something. What if I pay the rents, I buy equipment, I manage this business, and I turn it into a big entertainment house, and I own shares?
Oh, that was a good one.
They said they'll think about it. A week later, K Master K called me, KZ, that was his name at the time. And he told me, we accept. That's how I cleared that debt. And that's how I found myself in No Hits, No Records, and I became a major shareholder. And then I changed it from just a small recording studio in Campaign Street to a big recording studio now based in Moliko. And then we turned it into a record label. And from Campaign Street to Moliko, we brought the likes of X Malaya, Lady Pongs, Longe to that studio in Moliko to do recordings.
Wow.
That's how No Hits, No Records started. So that was how we now changed it to, from a small recording studio, I now transformed it to a record label. And we started signing. We signed Daphne under No Hits, No Records. We signed Cool Kid under No Hits, No Records. Sienna, Flory Boys. There's a lot of them at that time. Marvin the Ice. So that's how No Hits, No Records came. Phil came later. He was a beautiful singer at the time. And guess what? So the business model of No Hits, No Records was that we were going to work and then raise money and then invest in their careers. At the time, Rhythms was 2 people. This is what many people don't know. Rhythms was Ken Stevens and K Master K. Phil was not a member of Rhythms at the time.
Okay.
So Ken Stevens was a super rapper. Trust me, hey, the guy was good. Ken now was a rapper and a producer. So Ken was the one doing instrumentals in No Hits, No Records at the time. Right? K Master K would do engineering. Mm-hmm. You know? And we started their popular song, Honeymoon of Jerusalem. So they came from a studio called The Cobra House, Street 2. So Fontaine B. Collins, grandfather, he had done a good job for them. He's the one who brought up most of those guys from Campaign Street. So that's how we started No Hits, No Records. Then along the line, Phil came and we joined them to Rhythms. So Rhythms now became 3. Mm-hmm. Down the line, we had problems with paying for videos. That was the era of the rise of Adrenaline. And Adrenaline would shoot a video at the time for 200K. That was so much money for us. So much money. And we now decided, okay, instead of giving Adrenaline so much money, one of us could learn this thing and then we don't have to spend for it. And Ken opted that, hey, I like it, I was going to learn. That's how Ken started. Oh. And then down the line, we started having problems with Ken because Ken became so in love with the art, with video directing and editing, that he didn't want to do production anymore and he didn't want to do music anymore. So some days we'd go for a concert and Ken would arrive after the concert is finished. There was this wedding we had at Chariot Hotel. And they were supposed to sing Honeymoon of Jerusalem for the wedding. And when we're done singing and we're about to take our taxis back home, that's when Ken was arriving. No, that was when we were like, Ken, you know what? You have to choose. Pick a side. And without thinking, Ken side.
Okay.
I want to do video directing. And he's Ken today. And then, so that's how No It's No Records came. And that's how Rhythms came around.
Okay. So, Daphne, the Cool Kid, the Flurry Boys, how was it like managing all of these people with the little finance you had at that time?
When we turned to the record label, from the record studio to a record label, that was like 2012. I think I graduated from the university at the time. By the way, I have a degree in journalism and mass communication, an HND in marketing and management, and then I started masters in corporate communication. But I suspended my masters in corporate communication because I traveled to Europe to do a European tour with X Malaya for 6 months. Okay. So when I came back, I just decided to let it go. Now, how was it? It was a business model we had to arrange. We didn't have money. In those days, you would not see anybody that would sponsor anybody. But the good thing about me was that I think that one of the gifts I have is I know the art of negotiation. I know the art of pitching. And that I can pitch to you and you give me the last savings you have in your account. Because anyways, I have bright ideas, so it's always very good. So how did we do it? The money would work from the studio because that was the best and the biggest recording studio at the time. Yeah. Before Alpha Beta Record Studio came, before No It's No Records was the happening thing back then. So we used to make a lot of money. I'm telling you that we produced songs for Lady Pons. We produced songs for Longer. We produced songs. I mean, almost all the Anglophone artists at the time, we were producing songs for them. At the time, it was Mumak Records of Jovi and Magasco and Rennie's. There was Red Eye Entertainment, but they didn't have a studio of Ambe. Which other one was there? I think, because even Stevens Records came later. You know, yeah. So we'd raise money from...
Your M1
studio. Grimy was there. There was Street Talks. Street Talks was somewhere around Delhi South in Boy at the time. And Street Talks was owned by the family of K. K is the manager and husband of Mel B. Okay. So they come from a line of music. You know, Mel B, I think, was signed by that record label in those days and stuff like that. So we'd raise money from the studio and then would invest in their careers. That was the plan. Okay. That was the only way. So I had to raise money from the music business and then pump it back. And we were doing great. I remember when we signed Daphne, Daphne's first song, Mother's Love. You know, Mother's Love has 2 videos, eh? Okay. There's the first video we shot in Yaoundé. And oh my, we went to Yaoundé and we were supposed to be in Yaoundé for like 3 days or 4. And then the director, Black, extended. And then we ran out of hotel bills, money. I had a friend, Lionel. Thank you, Leo. They're watching this. I called him. He was my classmate in the seminary and my classmate in UB. He too studied journalism and mass communication. He lives in Yaoundé. We went to their house. Men were squatting in their parlor. We were sleeping on the floor. All of us, his mom would put mattresses on the floor. Daphne, myself, KZ. Was Ken there at the time? I'm not sure. Phil Bill Beats, Marvin Dice, and would literally sleep on the floor and wake up in the morning. Oh, that's on mattresses though, and go and shoot. Okay. So that was how we raised money. Sponsors didn't come at the time. There were no investment. And then I was doing shows, a lot of shows, small shows in Boy at the time, where gate fee was 1,500 and we raised 200,000, 100,000. And at the time, 100, 200,000 was a lot of money for us to invest back, to plow back in the business. Sure. That was the model I used. Okay. That's how we survived.
So after a while, the label started falling because Daphne left, all of the Flurry Boys were no longer part of it, Kingsley was no longer part of it. We want to know the transition and what really happened. At
some point, KZ came to me, Master K came to me and told me that we have a problem because I'd brought in too many people and we had little resources. We had to let go of few. There was this guy, IVO. IVO is the one that gave most of the hits of Malox. He came from No It's No Records. He was a producer at No It's No Records. So at some point he left and went to Yaoundé. They met up with Malox and then did the hits for Malox. So what happened is that we decided that we had to release a few people so we can concentrate. At the time, my joker was Rhythms and Daphne. Now with Flurry Boys, what happened? They got signed, but they got signed and they left. Cool Kid too at the time had a hit song. Seriously, he was #1 on Trace Urban. In those days, it was a mystery to even get to Trace. Not to talk of being #1 on Trace Urban. We did this from a small box in Moliko. The Cool Kid at the time, I think Universal was talking to him at that time. So he left. And Sienna also at some point stopped music. Sienna at the time, because what I did was most of the artists, I could get an artist and then I'll partner with somebody, either an individual or another business guy, so that we could work on it. That's what I was doing. So Sienna, I was working at a time with Mode Maison. Mode Maison was a Cameroonian owned PR company in London, owned by Cynthia Tabe. So Sienna, at some point, I don't know what happened, she didn't want to do music anymore. She left. So we came down to Rhythms and Daphne and Marvin the Ice. Marvin now, I think he's in Dubai also. Then Stevens Records had signed Gasha. Yes, Stevens was with Gasha. Gasha was top. Gasha was doing beautiful, wonderful. And then this day, one of the guys I used to record at the studio, Popsy, is an artist. Popsy came to me. I'm like, hey bro, I have a meeting in Douala. So then they knew that was the English guy. I'm the guy that will show up for a meeting and convince people to invest. So Popsy came to me and told me, see, I have my elder brother in the US. He's spoken about my career to these guys, the music execs, and they want to meet with me, but I don't want to go alone. Can you accompany me? So I followed Popsy to that meeting, and hold and behold, when we got to that meeting in Douala, it was with Uncle T of Stevens Records. So we played Popsy's songs, and he listened to them, he liked them, and along the line, we stumbled on the songs of Daphne and Rhythms. And Uncle T was like, wow, what are these guys? I'm like, yo, these are my guys. You know, from the studio there, I knew that I arrived. You know, and poverty is a bastard, trust me. And then Uncle T said, I like this girl. She sings so well. That was Daphne. I'm like, yeah, she sings wonderful. She's wonderful. We listened. Daphne, then we were preparing to roll out her album. This album was produced by Phil. You know, Phil did most of the writings too. Daphne did writings too. K Master K did the mixing and mastering and stuff. So we're about to roll Daphne's album. And then I just dropped the album of Rhythms. I was on promotion. So I gave Uncle T a CD. I think he was the first person that ever bought a CD for 20,000 fans. Man, we're selling those CD, I think, at 1.5 or 2,000. He bought it for 20,000. Anyways, Uncle T was coming from the US. He had money. He gave me 20,000 fans, and he was like, I'd like to meet this girl. And we were like, I was like, all right, okay, that's fine. And then went back to Boya. I think this was the first time I sojourned out of the Southwest on my own. Okay. And then when we went back, Uncle T was like, hey, we're having dinner, lunch. It was lunch with the family. Could you come over? And like, you come with Daphne, let's listen to our music and stuff. And Uncle T sent me transport, I think it was 30,000 to come to Douala. I'm like, hey. They were taking buses, 1.5.
Yeah.
And that's how I came to Douala. They met Daphne, and they were like, they're interested either in Rhythms or in Daphne. They wanted to sign a new act.
Okay.
And I had to make a choice. I think the better choice at the time, which I regret today, was to sell Daphne. I sold Daphne for an undisclosed fee.
How much?
An undisclosed. I tell you, like, even Daphne doesn't know how much she was sold for. I think the only people who know how much Daphne was sold for was Uncle T, his brother, Uncle Ati, who's the barrister Ati. Phil Bill knew about it because he was partner. K Masake knew about it, and then I knew about it.
Okay.
We now signed the papers and we sold Daphne off. Like, I just summarized. That's how Daphne left No It's No Records. Because then I was managing Daphne, and then we had signed Daphne. I think Daphne was... Who brought Daphne to the studio was K Master K. He's a very good guy, sweet guy. He's the one person that bought most of these guys. He found them. In fact, No It's No Records actually started with K Master K. He bought the first equipment, the first studio things, and every other thing, that was him. Okay. So that was how we sold Daphne. I had to keep Rhythms because Rhythms were not just artists, they were producers and artists. So we were making money at the level of production, mixing and mastering, and then we were making money as musicians. So Daphne left. So,
but you mentioned that it's a decision you regret your date. So hadn't been...
I think that now...
the House of Time.
I think that now... maybe, just maybe, I don't regret it in the sense that maybe if Daphne was still with us, still at No It's No Records, Daphne might not have been Daphne today. You get what I mean? But what I'm saying, that a couple of things that I think I should have been making some royalties of Daphne, because Mother's Love, we did Mother's Love initially. Rastafari, we had produced it initially. So coming down to present day music, I think that we would have still been making some money off Daphne right up till today. Akon still makes money off Lady Gaga right up to today, off Cardinal Fisher, off T-Pain, off till today. So what I mean, like, I regret is then I even think that I was the first music exec, I don't know about Francophone Cameroon, from Anglophone Cameroon, that was paid to take an artist off my record label. Nowadays, even they don't even negotiate these things. You just hear that there's an artist with this record label, tomorrow he has left.
Yeah.
It's with this one. You hear artists leaving record labels left, right, center, no negotiations, no payment. You get what I mean? But I think I was the first that Stevens actually asked me, like, we negotiated for a while, for like 3 weeks or so, or 4 weeks. And I remember they actually went to Daphne. You see what I'm telling you about gratification? Gratitude is a prayer. I think they went to Daphne one time to open talk to Daphne. And Daphne told them, see, I want to come, but I cannot come until you have a conversation with Prince.
Wow.
And Stevens Records approached me, and then we had that conversation with K, Master K, and Phil Bill. Now we needed cash to invest in rhythms. So when we sold Daphne, that was the money we used to buy more equipment in the studio and then invested in rhythms.
Okay. So Daphne left. Now you're left with just...
So Daphne left, I was left with rhythms. We kept trying. I knew a few grand first, Tony Nobody. I come to him. Tonton Bea, thank you very much. He helped us a lot. I remember us coming to Douala. I did not even know my left from my right in Douala. So I was left with rhythms. Now we had to put in so much energy. Honeymoon was doing great. Honeymoon was a hit song in Dubai, was a hit song in Nigeria, was a hit song in Cameroon. And Cameroonians did not even know that it was rhythms. They were Cameroonians that did the song.
Yeah, many thought it was
Many
Nigerians.
thought we were Nigerians. And what happened is that our life changed again around when we met Tony Nobody. What happened is we came to Douala one time to do promotion. So this is how I used to do promotion in those days. And it brings me to say that our music industry needs to understand a few things. See, you have to work. And our present day A-list artists, they have to go back to the drawing board. They have to strategize. You have to have a plan. Most of them just release songs, they don't have a plan. Trace made us very, very, very lazy. What happened with Trace Africa was that when you put out a song, you send to Trace Africa, sometimes it's free, most times it was for free. Sometimes you pay $1 million for promo, and Trace puts it back to back, and then it's a hit song. Today, Trace is no longer free for air. Like, Trace is no longer an opinion leader like it was. I'm sorry to say it. Now they have to go back to the drawing board. How did I used to do promo? I'll print CDs of rhythms and we'll move all those villages. Ikata, Babunji, Kumba, Moyoka, Ekona. I'm telling you, bar by bar, DJ by DJ, and hand those CDs. There's a strategy we did even. I would buy canned drinks. Foreign canned drinks that used to come from Nigeria, Bullet. And we'll carry canned drinks in a Saxamoto. And if I see you, the DJ, I discuss with you, you are nice, I give you the CD, you play one time, be like, nice song. I give you one canned drink and 1,000 fans. Man, canned drink in those villages at the time means that, hey, Mona Bobo, you came from the coast. These guys don't know who suffered. So that was how we went. And rhythms, we kept moving, and then I met Tony Nobody. Tony heard the songs and was like, wow, this is great music. You guys are from Boya. Then this is like my third time coming to Douala. I got lost even. You know, and Tony bought a CD for 10,000 fans. And I came back to Boya, and we were doing shows around Southwest. We were very popular at the time. Rhythms was very popular. Noise No Records was very popular. We're doing great at our level. This was no sponsorship. And then one day Tony calls me and says, hey bro, how are you? Tony, you know, he's French speaking, but he speaks Pidgin well. And you ask me that, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, girlfriend, nothing. Like, there's somebody that wants to talk to you. I'm like, who? He said, listen to the voice. And then he passed the phone to this guy. And the guy did not know English. And he said so much French. And all I could say was, oui, monsieur. I literally wasn't getting. But then I figured out he said that this song is nice. Get what I mean? And what happened? When we were done, Tony asked me, do you know who you were talking to? I said, no. He said, that is Roger of X Malaya.
No.
I was excited. See, I was a fan of X Malaya. I watched X Malaya play in 2009, 2010, I think, at the Moliko Stadium. I'm sorry, I had to dodge school that day to watch X Malaya. I think that I was jumping at the back. These are songs, Makosa, Malaya. And my spiritual director was jumping on this other side. I almost turned and like, hey, Father. Then I said, hey, this is Father. You know, that was how much I was a fan of X Malaya, you know. And we just said, yeah, listen to their songs, beautiful. This is nice.
Yeah.
You like to work with us. And I tell you, Roger thought he was talking to a very big man because he was calling me to Monsieur. I didn't be in one tiny nigga. He probably called me Monsieur. My mind, Roger calls me Monsieur. I made it in life. And that was when 2015 then. That was when they were supposed to have their concert in Paris at Olympia. So Roger promised to meet us when they come back. I was so excited. I tell you, prayers work. For every time we prayed, Tonton Beya called and helped us in Douala. When we prayed, Tony, nobody called. Prayers work. So, we just said he has listened to a song, Beautiful. When he comes back from Paris, he's now going to meet with us. See, I was so excited. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, no phone call. I kept bugging Tony. He goes, yeah, no calls. Like, don't worry, he will call. Then one fateful evening, I think I was trekking from UB Junction coming up towards St. Clair. Then it was called Powerman. And then my phone was ringing. And then I picked this call with some friends. And the guy said, hello, bonsoir. I'm like, good evening. It's like, c'est Monsieur Enobi? I'm like, yes, how can I help you? It's like, je m'appelle Roger de X Malaya. Man, I didn't hear well. Is it? He says, je m'appelle Roger de X Malaya. Is it?
The third time?
The third time? He repeated.
Wow.
Ah, sister, come and see running. I ran into Ebony. Got into the hotel, the reception, I'm like, shh, don't talk, calm down. Whatever he said, I just kept saying yes. The only thing I heard was that let us meet. It was a 15 minutes phone call, I didn't hear the French. And we arranged to meet. Our lives to change. Shockingly, that was like the second time I went to Yaoundé in my life.